This is group 3 for the Animals and Society class.
My name is Jacqueline Campos. I'm a first year here at Fresno State and my major is pre-vet.
My name is Eva Esquivel. This is my first year at State and my major is Ag Ed.
My name is Jasmine Flores. This is my first year at Fresno State, and I am an agriculture education major with an emphasis in plant science.
My name is Elisa Ortiz, and this is my first year, and I am majoring in criminology.
This is our project on antibiotic use in animals, and this presentation is part 2 for it.
My name is Elizette, and I am doing 1 through 3, which is history and background. Since the 1940s, it had been discovered that antibiotics in food animals has had a big impact on their growth and improved feed efficiency. The antibiotics can destroy bacteria. They are used for prevention, control, treatment of diseases, and infections. In 1951, the first antibiotics used in feed for increased growth were approved. They are given to farm animals like cows, pigs, chickens, and turkeys. It has been a widespread in agriculture ever since. In 2011, 80% of all antibiotics that have been sold in the U.S. has been towards food-producing animals. Farmers, ranchers, veterinarians are the common users of antibiotics in food animals. Animals who receive antibiotics gain 4% to 5% of body weight and live longer than the ones who do not get the antibiotics in their food. In the picture below, you can see how it demonstrates the pig and the 80% of all the antibiotics being used. Second one is ethical aspects. Throughout history, the global society's desires have been to maximize the food productions. Farmers believe a healthy animal makes a healthy consumer. It benefits the animal's health and increases the yield for the farmer or company that use antibiotics in food animals. Some believe when they eat the animals they have had antibiotics that they are inducing it to, but that is not true. They go through withdrawal periods, which is to ensure we do not consume meat or animals products that contain antibiotics. Livestock and poultry must go through a withdrawal period after receiving antibiotics. The antibiotics must leave the animal system before it goes to processing to produce any food products. The third one is cultural and sociological importance. Centuries ago, ancient Egyptians, Chinese, and Central American Indians used antibiotics without knowing it. Antibiotics in animals are helpful to them and humans. Since the animals live in cramped and unsanitary conditions, the antibiotics prevent the spread of diseases between them. It increases food production, creating employment opportunities. Healthy animals means ensuring good animal welfare by preventing disease and providing treatment. In the picture, you can see how the cow represents money and how the antibiotics are being injected into it and producing money.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline and I'll be doing the last slides of this presentation. So one of the first slides has to do with current events, and one of the current events I found on one of the websites that was talking about chicken production is that in 2017 the FDA has a full enforcement of the veterinary feed directive, which bans antibiotic use for growth. Therefore, most of the claims are not liable because most of people's opinions are found in a lot of the writings that have to do with antibiotic use in livestock. And in 2017, it shows that it was taken down and the antibiotic is strictly only used for animals that are sick. Therefore, the antibiotics do not cause any growth problems in the animals or in the humans. Therefore, it does not even risk their health. Another current event for this topic is that Subway and McDonald's are pushing away from buying chickens from farmers that use antibiotics. And this has been a problem for a lot of the farmers because they're losing money since these big companies that buy large amounts of a product from these farmers are not buying from them anymore because of the public, and the public is based on people that are believing articles that state that antibiotics are strictly used for growth, which is false. And this is another reason why antibiotics should stay, because the animals are actually staying healthy, whereas a lot of the other companies that do not use antibiotics, their animals are dying, and they cannot. They The large companies like McDonald's and Subway cannot meet the demand, or the farmers cannot meet the demands that these companies have if they do not use the antibiotics in the animals, because what happens is that animals uh, need antibiotics so they can cure a lot of their illnesses. And in farming, in farmers that do not use antibiotics, most of their livestock is dying off and they cannot meet the demand. Also, in another current event, I read an article about how the antibiotic use is actually hurting the economy. And by economy, it is talking again about the farmers losing a lot of money since they're trying to meet consumer demand and cannot use antibiotics in their animals. So what happened is that animals do die off, or and these animals do cost a lot of money, especially like if you're trying to genetically modify them and you need certain genes to get a expensive cattle or a chicken and or a breed, and those cost money and they're dying off since they cannot treat them with antibiotics. Most of this does have to do with consumer demand because, again, the FDA banned any antibiotics that are used for growing. Some benefits of using antibiotics in animals are that it keeps the animals healthy. It can prevent a lot of illnesses and can prevent E. coli from growing once the livestock is sent to the meat lab and given out to the public. Another reason for that antibiotics should be used is because it has a less mortality rate in animals, which means that the animals are going to be able to live a healthy life while they're still in the process of being sent off to the meat lab and taken out to the public. However, if they're not given antibiotics, they usually, as a young cat, like for example, if cattle is young, they can contract many diseases easily, or since chickens are in a very enclosed space, they can pass a disease can pass within 24 hours. So if a chicken is not treated with antibiotics, it can spread the disease to the whole section where it's located, and it can cause the farmer to lose a lot of money. The next benefit would be animal welfare. Has to do with animal welfare, and that has to do with not letting the animal suffer when it does get sick. Since they are already preventing treatment, or they're preventing a disease with treatment, they do not have to suffer, or they stop the animal from actually getting sick. And this has to do with a lot of the argument between animal rights and animal welfare. And animal welfare stance, it is best to use antibiotics, and with animal rights, it would not. But the welfare does focus on the long life of an animal and for it to be healthy and happy. The fourth and final benefit for this presentation is a disease prevention. So I kind of touched on this topic a little bit, but disease prevention has to do with both the animal and the consumer. Some arguments against the use of antibiotics claim that antibiotics are actually making people sick and can cause cancer, but it is actually preventing spreads of E. coli and many diseases that spread from animal to a human, which is a benefit. Another disease prevention would be just overall, or a disease prevention for the animal would just be if it gets sick, it'll prevent other livestock that lives near it or is in the same area does not get it or catch it. So an opinion of this animal or treating animals with antibiotics is that animal welfare should be put first as they are suffering from not being treated if they become sick. Small businesses are being hurt, and I believe the resolution is just strengthening FDA rules in the use of antibiotics. This means using antibiotics, so preventing using antibiotics for growing certain meat in chickens or, just making treating it so the meat looks a nicer color. Antibiotics are also important to keep the animals healthy and prevent any diseases, so it is good for the consumers. And then it goes again with the disease prevention in the previous slide. This will expand the economy by getting the consumers' attention for the animals that are healthy and well taken care of. By this, I mean the economy would benefit because the farmer will not have to spend money constantly on vet bills or um, using or a lot of their livestock dying off because they could have been preventing a illness. To conclude the summary, animals should be treated with antibiotics to prevent diseases from spreading as well as prevent suffering in animals. It is in the farmer's best interest to do so for their product instead of wasting money on livestock with high mortality rate. It is also safer to consume by the public. Healthy animals will also lead to healthy consumers. Food producing will increase and keep the consumers happy. Farmers, ranchers, and veterinarians should be allowed to use antibiotics. Vets are the ones that administer the antibiotics. The ranchers and farmers are the ones that are mostly benefiting from this because it will bring more revenue for them where they can also provide for more stable location for the animals to keep, and it will also FDA will be more aware of what they're doing. These are some links to the resources from the articles in this campaign. And again, my name is Jacqueline Campos.
My name is Eliza Ortiz.
And this was our presentation for the use of antibiotics. Thank you.